Claire Fry, here to give you kind of the latest on what's happening on the radar and what we can expect heading into the next several hours. So without further ado, I'm going to show you what you can expect here over the next couple of hours. Hold on, I just might have hit the wrong button. Kind of still getting used to this. There we go. Okay, now I'm with you guys. This is alert again is from 2 to 9 o'clock. This is the same as what we had just yesterday. Very similar impacts are going to be expected with these slow-moving thunderstorms, with flash flooding, and possibly even damaging wind gusts in some of the areas. So we're already seeing a couple of pop-up storms come in and on the radar again, coming in from the west. It's starting to get a little bit busy across the area, especially for westernmost counties, where we're continuing to track these kind of locally heavy downpours across the area, and even a couple that are kind of starting to pop up in portions more so eastern parts of the triad too. So we're going to track all of that for you. A lot of cloud to ground lightning within these storms too. Remember that lightning can strike 20 miles away from a storm, so if you hear thunder, please get indoors. We don't want another accident or anybody to get struck. A look right now across westernmost counties where we're tracking these locally heavy downpours. Like now in Wilkesboro, actually just toward the west of North Wilkesboro, we're starting to see some heavier rainfall just south of 421. I'm going to zoom in and see if there's any roads along where I'm really seeing the highest rainfall rates across the area. Let's zoom in just a little bit. It really is more along Mount Zion Road and Kendall Creek Drive that you're really seeing a lot of heavy rainfall, but these storms for now are just strong storms, but they're impacting much of our westernmost counties here in Wilkes, Allegheny, and also Surrey counties. These are going to continue to kind of build in toward our east over the next couple of hours. And who's to say whether or not they're going to weaken or also continue to strengthen, but we'll just have to keep eyes on it. Of course, there's going to be some redevelopment across the area. Not everybody is going to get a shower or storm, but it's worth keeping an eye out on the radar if you do see a shower or storm. Again, they're all kind of continuing to come in from our west and kind of push east around 20 to 30 miles per hour, and we'll continue to track these with you. Again, locally heavy downpours that can produce flash flooding and damaging winds really are our greatest threats once again for the day today. We also are looking at a couple of other pop-up storms that are throughout the triad. This one is kind of just over level cross right on the line between Randolph County and Guilford County. So I want to zoom in on this where I'm kind of seeing most of that rainfall, heavy rainfall, really come down. It's really along Evans Cedar Lane, right along Old Providence Road and U.S. Highway 220 Business North, and also Georgia Drive. If you hear that, your street name getting called, head indoors. There's a strong storm that's continuing to kind of build in right above you. We're also tracking some other storms just toward our easternmost counties, right there in Alamance, that are currently moving out and into Orange County and also in Chatham County. But some isolated downpours, some cloud to ground lightning all within this storm. And this one just moved out of Alamance, and this was right over Haw River and Mebane, where we saw the majority of that rainfall. Really haven't seen many rainfall amounts so far for the day today, but these storms really are just getting going. And of course, I'm going to continue to bring you guys updates on Plus every hour on the hour for at least 10 minutes. But if there's, barring any warnings, we could be on even longer than that, and I'll continue to bring you the latest. I did want to show you this. This is kind of a thing that shows us what they're watching, certainly, for any type of severe watch. And this is the area that they're watching to possibly issue a severe thunderstorm watch. So we could have a thunderstorm watch sooner rather than later over the next hour or two as these storms continue to kind of move into the area. And again, that's the majority of the triad, so we'll keep eyes on that. But for right now, weather alerts across the area as of 2 o'clock. Heat advisory, that's just in effect for counties toward our east, and also our friends in Montgomery County down there. That's until 8 o'clock tonight due to the fact that heat index values are up to around 107, and that's due to dew points being in the low to mid 70s. It is oppressive. It is tropical-like out there, and it's not seeing much relief except when we see storms and then that chance heading into next week with that cold front moving through by around Wednesday and into Thursday. Taking a look at our lightning tracker across the region, you'll notice that they're kind of, all joined in dense little spots, and that's really, the nature of these storms. They're very pop-up in manner, scattered, so they're not all going to be coming in with a line like you would see within a cold front. That's kind of why it's also hard to tell you when and where exactly these pop-up storms are going to be in these summer afternoons. We know we have the ingredients, we have the heat, we have the humidity, and we have the moisture, but we don't know exactly where these storms are going to pop. So that's why, all of our area, we just want you to stay updated with us on air, and of course on WFMY Plus too, as we continue to bring you the latest updates. We are in a level 2 today for a flash flooding risk, which is pretty significant. That means that scattered flash flooding is possible across the region, so we have to be extra careful while we're out. If you are issued a flash flood warning and it's for your location, please get inside and stay inside. Please get off of the roads. Really doesn't take much to hydroplane, and of course, if you see a flooded roadway, please do not attempt to drive in it. Most flood injuries and deaths are actually due to vehicles. So keep that in mind. Please be safe while you're out there. Severe storm risk for our area, mainly in a level 1 for the day today, but some of our areas here, northeast counties like Guilford and also Caswell and Rockingham, northern parts of Alamance as well, are in a level 2, meaning scattered severe storms going to be possible for this afternoon and into the evening. Flash flood risk for tomorrow, fortunately, is going to be lower. It's more so toward our west that we're seeing more and more downpours that are going to be kind of sitting over those areas. But for us, also very low threat of severe weather for tomorrow. Again, our weather impact alert, if you're just joining us, is for the day today. From now all the way until 9 o'clock tonight, no threat as much into the day tomorrow, so we do not have an alert for that, and we'll continue to bring you these updates. Storm threats, again, for the day today, damaging winds, and of course that flash flooding threat are the two biggest things that we're going to be keeping an eye on. Not as much of a threat for hail. You're still going to be possibly able to see it, and really not much of a tornado threat. We really just don't have the ingredients in the atmosphere to see that kind of threat. It really is, with these storms that bubble up, going to be the wind and the flooding, that we've seen just in the last couple of weeks. We're all too familiar with this pattern at this point. I think we're all pretty much done with it too. And the good news is there is an end in sight. There is a light at the end of the tunnel. We'll talk about that more here in just a couple minutes. Rainfall tallies that we've seen so far today, really not much, but I am expecting these to kind of shoot up over the next couple of hours, at least for some spots, right? I did want to show you the rainfall just yesterday, and over in Mount Airy, they got over 2.5 inches versus in Winston-Salem, nothing. Greensboro, nothing, only a couple hundredths of an inch in Lexington. And that really is, how these storms work. They're going to bring in a lot of rain in a short amount of time for some people, and then other places not going to get much at all. Wilkesboro, you can see they got up to around 0.4 inches just below that. But eastern parts of Wilkesboro saw between 2 to 3 inches due to redeveloping storms just yesterday afternoon that you can see kind of color-coded on that map in that greenish and yellowish color right there on the eastern part of that county. Really expecting these storms to kind of get through our area by around 8 or 9 o'clock at the latest. But we'll continue to kind of bring you these updates here. This is that Futurecast over the next couple of hours, all the way until around 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, starting to see them become a little bit more widespread across the region, really through around 6 or 7 o'clock. Again, a couple of these could be severe, bringing in that damaging wind gust, so go ahead and secure outdoor loose items. Be on the lookout for any sort of warnings. Make sure that you have a way to receive, multiple ways to receive these severe weather alerts heading into this evening. Then heading into later tonight, we're really starting to calm down. Tomorrow morning, that's the time to get out, when it's not only cooler, but you don't really have as much of a chance for these scattered showers too. It's that's really the prime time to get outdoors and do the things you need to do. Afternoon on Sunday really is more isolated in nature, these isolated storms. Most of us, honestly, I think are going to stay dry. Haven't been able to say that for several days now. Taking a look now at some of our current conditions, Burlington will ride at around 90. Dew points in the lower 70s makes it feel like we are in the upper 90s, though, across the area. It is summertime. It is some tropical-like heat. It is swampy. I think I posted on my page, in North Carolina, you come for the sweet tea, but stay because you can't get through the air because it's too thick. It's swampy out there. But again, there is some relief in sight, so I'm going to show you where that relief is here in our 7-day before I wrap up coverage, at least for this hour, but I'll be back with you guys at the top of every hour just to bring you the latest updates. And what to expect, of course. There are going to be updates on every hour for radar, of course. And, I'm going to bring myself off of here so you can take a full glance at what to expect over these next several days. Tomorrow, again, pop-up storm chance is going to be there, but very isolated. It's going to be hot, though. It's still going to be humid. Make sure you're staying hydrated. We're in the mid to upper 80s, a little bit cooler Monday through Wednesday, but look toward Wednesday and the end of the work week. The light at the end of the tunnel, it is there. We're in the mid to upper 80s and lower 90s. Plenty of sunshine. Hey, stick with us at the top of every hour. I'll continue to bring you updates. Please stay safe and have a great weekend. Good to see you. It is now 3 p.m. We are in a weather impact alert that started at 2 p.m. just an hour ago, bringing you the latest updates as we track a very active radar across North Carolina. This weather impact alert is going to go until 9 o'clock tonight due to the threat of some of these locally heavy downpours and storms, bringing in flash flooding as well as a damaging wind threat to our area. If you get issued in any type of warning, whether it's flash flood or severe thunderstorm warning, make sure you're indoors and, of course, off the roads. It doesn't take much to hydroplane, and of course, if you see a road is flooded, please do not attempt to drive in it. So we do have this alert until 9 o'clock tonight. I wanted to start out by taking you over to our look at the graphic system, and I'm going to put myself on there too. There we go. And as of right now, there is one new severe thunderstorm warning. It's until 3:15, and that's for both Durham and Granville counties. That's out toward our east, just north of Raleigh. But we still have a couple of strong thunderstorms moving through the triad currently as we speak. So I'm going to go over to our live sweeping radar that can kind of show us what we're kind of seeing across our area. Lots and lots of downpours currently making their way through Alamance County, moving toward Burlington, Altamaha. This is kind of right over Saxapahaw too. I know you guys have had a lot of recent flooding issues, and this is a lot of heavy rainfall that's been coming down right over Alamance. Gibsonville is really where we're seeing the most heavy rainfall across the area. Right along Highway 87 is where we just saw it kind of pass through in portions of Saxapahaw. Just passing through Rock Creek. It's kind of continuing to push northeast fairly quickly, but I'm sure we're probably going to be seeing some redevelopment with these storms, not only for Alamance, but also across all of the Triad area. It's really going to be hit or miss. Everybody wants to know, I keep getting the question of, is it going to hit, X at this, at X time? It's really hard to say exactly where and when these pop-up storms are going to form when it's summertime. We don't have a main system that's driving these storms through the area. When we don't have an upper level steering current, such as a cold front pushing in through the area, it's really hard to time these storms and know exactly where that would be. With a cold front, we have a line moving through the area that we're able to track and know the timeline of and know where the line would be coming in and where you would see those storms. But these, with summer storms, they bubble up fairly quickly, and then, of course, they continue to bring locally heavy downpours, and they can be really scattered in nature, as you can see right here on the map. Kind of zooming out just a little bit, Guilford County mainly dry for right now, other than that one shower kind of just toward the northeast of Sedalia. Continuing to also track some storms in our westernmost counties. One actually flash flood warning just outside of our area. That's in Ashe County. That's until 9 o'clock tonight. But those same storms are continuing to push into Allegheny, into Wilkes, into Yadkin counties, and also into Surrey counties as we speak. A lot of heavy rainfall, and I'm sure they're going to be redeveloping as they continue to kind of move in and over the mountains too. So another storm cluster I can kind of see right now is actually moving into Davie County. So I'm going to zoom in a little bit, right near Callahan, excuse me if I did mispronounce that. But these storms really are packing a punch with some damaging winds, locally heavy downpours. That one really they're kind of cutting both sides of 40 right now. And right there along Moxville and Callahan, that's where we're seeing these pop-up storms form at the moment. But they really can be pretty sporadic across the area. One we just had form in just the last couple of radar scans just toward the east of High Point, actually. South of Jamestown, where we're seeing Martin Luther King Jr. Drive, Triangle Lake Road. This is also Harvey Road, right along Grandover Parkway is where this locally heavy downpour just kind of popped up. The good news is that I don't see anything severe in our area as of right now, but of course we're continuing to track some other severe warnings toward our east where these storms really are continuing to pop up. I do think that we're going to see a couple of severe thunderstorm warnings heading into the night tonight, especially since it's only 3 o'clock and we already have a pretty busy radar. Daytime heating, that heating along with the humidity and the moisture that we already have sitting in and across the triad really kind of add some fuel for these storms to form fairly quickly. You can see a lot of clouds of ground lightning within these storms too. And of course, I said it in my last cut in at 2 o'clock, but I want you to know that they really can strike well outside of the storm. Around 20 miles away from the storm is where lightning can go. So if you hear thunder, please head indoors. Again, this is until around 9 o'clock tonight. This is the latest Futurecast. Starting to see these become a little bit more scattered and possibly heavier and stronger between around now all the way until around 6 or 7 o'clock. Moving in and across our area, I do think that most of them will be out of our hair by around 8 or 9 o'clock. But of course, if that changes, we'll continue to bring you those updates and let you know what the latest forecast holds. We are going to begin to dry out as we step overnight and into early tomorrow morning. Isolated shower or two possible, but most of us going to be staying dry. I've been saying it the last couple of weeks, but I'll say it again. The mornings really are the best time to get out and enjoy the day. It's a little bit cooler. The humidity, the dew points aren't nearly as oppressive, feeling at least for the morning hours whenever we're in the 70s and 80s rather than, lower 90s and feeling like near triple digits. But also not that we're not seeing the risk of scattered storms as much in the morning. It really is a afternoon and evening kind of thing with these storms. So we are tracking an area for a possible severe thunderstorm watch, and that it does include parts of the Triad and parts of central North Carolina. So we'll continue to keep you updated on that. As of right now, a watch has not been issued. The only alerts for the area are going to be the heat advisory, and that's actually more toward the east of our area. It does include Montgomery County, which of course we do cover. This heat advisory does go until 8 o'clock tonight due to the fact that air temperatures in those shaded orange areas are in the low to mid 90s, and with dew points that are super oppressive and tropical feeling, they feel like they're in the upper triple digits, but between 105 up to around 107. So definitely a heat advisory needed for those areas. And even if you're heading that way, and even if you're just out here in the Triad, it is hot, it is humid. Please make sure you're staying hydrated. A look at our lightning tracker across the area. Strikes up to around 475 just for North Carolina. And you can see how scattered these clustered storms kind of are. Again, some areas not seeing any other strikes. You do see that one kind of lone strike in southeastern Guilford County from that one nearby storm in Sedalia. But we are continuing to watch these storms kind of form, and they are going to kind of overperform with lightning and locally heavy downpours as they continue to kind of form in and across our area. I wanted to show you our flash flooding risk for our area. It is a 2 out of 4. There is a higher risk toward our west and northwest, as you can see over there, kind of toward West Virginia and toward Kentucky. You can see that kind of a level 3 out of 4, but we're still in a level 2 out of 4 for our area specifically, meaning that scattered flash floods could be possible over the next several hours as these storms move through. But I really think it's going to be more of a case of these storms redeveloping over the same areas that kind of have already seen enough rain, and the rain has to go somewhere. You already have the saturated grounds, and the rain can just cause problems from then on out. When you already have the saturated grounds and the rain has to go somewhere, and it can just cause a lot of problems, especially for places with poor drainage. And of course, the roads that flood a little bit easier, the ones that are a little bit more vulnerable, and the places that have already seen a lot of rain just these last couple of weeks. So we'll be keeping you posted on those flash flood warnings. Another thing, severe storm risk for our area. Most of us in a level 1 or a level 2. More so our northeastern counties are in that level 2. That means that there's higher confidence in the storms being more scattered across our area, and that means that we could see a couple of severe thunderstorm warnings heading through now all the way until 9 o'clock tonight through at the end of our weather impact alert. So we'll keep you posted on that. Tomorrow, there is a lower risk for flash flooding. Only some of our counties, westernmost counties, really in that level 1, and some of our counties in a level 1 marginal risk for an isolated strong or severe storm. But lower than we're seeing today, so we're just going to be keeping it for now, for today being an alert day, and and that just be the case for now. And if we have any changes in the next several days as we continue to monitor the forecast for any sort of change, we'll keep you posted on that. But for now, today is a weather impact alert day, and that is it. Tomorrow is drier, and then we start to see a little bit more unsettled weather for Monday and Tuesday, but then we start to really dry out by Wednesday and through the end of the work week. Storm threats, same thing as what we saw just yesterday. Highest things are going to be the damaging wind and the flash flooding for the area. I'm going to give you one last peek here at our radar, then I'll show you our 7-day and kind of let you go from there. Of course, I'll continue to bring you updates here at the top of every hour. As we continue coverage on WFMY Plus, there is that severe thunderstorm warning just toward our east in portions of Raleigh, central North Carolina, with more storms continuing to bubble up and form across our area. Wouldn't surprise me at all if we get a severe thunderstorm warning just within the next hour or so, as these storms really kind of kick off with the heat and humidity across our area. So make sure you have a way to receive severe weather alerts as we head into the next several hours. I'm going to take this full if I can. There we go. So you can get a full glance at your full 7-day forecast. Over the next several days, we really are going to be starting to dry out across the area. Tomorrow afternoon and evening, again, most of us staying dry, which is nice, but it's still going to be hot and humid. Mainly dry by the middle of next week. We're in the mid to upper 80s, but we're heating up for Friday and over the weekend. Of course, I'll continue to bring you the latest coverage on our live radar and the check of the forecast at the top of the next hour. I'll be with you at 4 o'clock. I'll see you then. Good to see you guys, and thank you for tuning in on WFMY Plus, giving you the latest forecast as we continue to track these scattered showers and storms moving across our area. As of right now, here's a look at Winston-Salem, where we're already seeing that rain kind of continuing to build in with those pop-up storms in Forsyth County as we speak. You can see that rain shaft off in the distance too, where it's already bringing in that rainfall. They're still at 90 degrees, but not for much longer. Feels like temperatures still in the mid to upper 90s, but they're going to cool off here shortly as more storms continue to move in and bring in that rain-cooled air. Right now, we are in the weather impact alert stage until around 9 o'clock tonight due to the threat of these slow-moving storms, bringing in that chance for possible flash flooding, slow-moving, and also pretty strong at times. Could bring us some damaging wind gusts, even up to around 60 to 65 miles per hour in some of those severe storms. If we're able to get mixing all the way down to the surface, you can see those gusts really kind of exceed even severe limits at around 60 miles per hour. And again, this is just for the day today. This is just until 9 o'clock tonight. I do expect tomorrow to be a little bit more isolated in shower and storm nature, not nearly as big of a threat, and we'll kind of dive into that too. But for now, it is very busy right now on the radar, not only for us, but also to our friends just to our east in portions of Raleigh and central North Carolina. I wanted to zoom in on our only severe thunderstorm warning, at least for right now. This is actually in very northeast Alamance County, and this is kind of pushing toward the northeast fairly quickly at around 40 miles per hour. Again, this isn't the only county there that's being affected. It's also Durham, Orange, and Person County. I'm going to kind of zoom out a little bit as these storms kind of continue to form. We'll also maybe see a couple of storms from this particular line move into southeastern portions of Caswell County. A lot of lightning, downpours, and of course that damaging wind threat. So with that being said, I'm also going to show you what cities are going to be kind of impacted by this over the next 30 minutes or so, if it does hold together. So here we go. I'm going to draw this line, and this is mainly for our friends in Caswell counties. Here we go. Corbett. Particularly Corbett, if you are, and you're not technically in this warning particularly, but you are in the line of this storm as it continues to approach you very, very quickly. Again, 40 miles per hour, moving very fast. So that's by just in the next couple of moments, you'll be seeing more clouds roll in and that rainfall, torrential downpours, lightning, all of the things. So go ahead and get in your safe spot. These storms also continuing to approach Gordontown, Mount Zira, and also Brooksdale and Roxborough to our friends out to the east as well, with more storms also impacting them as we speak. Other areas across the Piedmont that we're seeing these pop-up storms, like I said, in Forsyth, you can see those pop-up storms really starting to light up portions of Forsyth County and Davidson County, just toward the south of Lexington and just toward the east there of Arcadia. Lots of cloud to ground lightning, and also in our friends in Guilford County, right here along East Gate City Boulevard. A couple pop-up storms also over Pleasant Garden that have started to kind of redevelop over the last little bit. I'm going to see if there are actually any little bit of hail in that, if there's any hail in that warning for that severe thunderstorm. Actually, for right now, really not seeing much, at least for us. A little bit more higher amounts in some of those storms that are severe out toward our east and parts of central North Carolina toward Raleigh. There's a flash flood warning just outside of our area, just above my head, actually. You can see over Ashe County, and then another two just in southern parts there of Virginia that we're going to continue to track. Now, I do anticipate these storms really will be out of our hair by around 8 or 9 o'clock tonight. We could have a couple of late runners, but for the most part, that really is, I'm kind of accounting for that in the alert, is those late running storms. I really think most of them going to be moving through by around 7, 8 o'clock. 9 o'clock is really that kind of buffer time for any of those late running storms. Here we are the next couple of hours. I do anticipate them being pretty widespread, pretty scattered in nature, some of which could just be strong. Others could be pretty severe, bringing in that threat of that flash flooding and, of course, that threat of damaging winds across the area. Also through around 6 to 7 to 8 o'clock, we'll be tracking most of them moving in from our west through most of our central counties there in Davidson, and also in portions of Rockingham and toward Asheboro there in Randolph County, as it continues to push toward the east out of our hair, especially by around 10 or 11 o'clock. Overnight, that's when we really start to calm down into tomorrow morning. And I do want to say, that is the time to be outdoors in the morning before the heat really hits, before the heat indices are back in the triple digits, and before you have storm chances really kind of ignite in the afternoons. That's the time to get outdoors and really enjoy it. There is a severe thunderstorm watch. None of our counties in the Triad are within this watch, but it's worth noting because it's very close to our area. It's just toward the east and it's just toward the northeast of our region. That severe thunderstorm watch does go until 10 o'clock tonight. For our area specifically, no watches for right now. We do have that severe thunderstorm warning that's outlined in that polygon that's yellow on your screen for northeast Alamance County. Montgomery County, just toward the south of us, or, you're still one of us, Montgomery County, I promise. So I would say our southernmost county, there we go, Montgomery County, you are in that heat advisory due to the fact that some of our heat indices are between 105 up to 107 this afternoon and evening. That advisory goes until 8 o'clock, so if you're going to be outdoors, and this goes for anybody in the Triad too, make sure you are also staying hydrated. It is going to be hot, and the dew points aren't helping at all. It is very tropical feeling out there. A look at the lightning tracker across our area, really a lot right now, just in Raleigh. I'm going to kind of zoom in and see how many are in that storm, just out of curiosity, in parts of Alamance County, and also moving toward Roxborough. And out of our area specifically, not that many, but over here in Raleigh, that's where really all the drama is going on right now within these storms, really hundreds of lightning strikes. And I did tell you this earlier, and I'm going to tell you again, these lightning strikes can strike up to 20 miles away from a storm. So if you hear thunder, please get indoors. Please get to a safe spot. I don't want anyone getting hurt or much less struck by lightning. So please be careful. Flash flooding risk for our region. We are in a level 2 out of 4. I want you to take this seriously. These last couple of weeks, we've had these storms that are very slow moving. Our soils are already saturated from recent rainfall and the downpours that we've had the last couple of weeks with this summer pattern that's kind of just been staying with us. We have this upper level ridge across our area. And without a big steering current across our area, we're not really seeing these storms move all that much. We don't have a steering current to kind of push these storms along. So as they bubble up because of the heat and the humidity and the moisture that we already have present in the atmosphere, they're able to just sit in one spot for a very long time or just redevelop over the same location. And then before you know it, a torrential downpour within one specific storm brings between 1 to 3 inches, and then you already have a problem with more storms redeveloping across the area that can cause runoff. And of course, especially for vulnerable spots that have already been wet the past couple of weeks, it really can cause issues. So if you get issued a flash flood warning for your location, please get inside and stay inside. Get off of the roads. If you see a road is flooded, please do not attempt to drive on it. We are in a level 1 risk for the SPC. This is our severe storm risk outlook, and what that means is that isolated severe storms are possible for our area. Some of our northeast counties underneath that level 2, which is more confidence that these severe storms will actually be a little bit more scattered in nature, so a little bit more confidence that there'll actually be more of them. So we'll keep eye on that. As for tomorrow, I mentioned this lower threat really in that level 1, and that's just for westernmost counties for that flash flooding risk, and a lower end threat also for any severe storms for the area. So could see still a 1 or 2 strong, maybe 1 severe storm, but not worth any that's pretty typical for this time of year when you have this kind of weather set up. It's not anything out of the ordinary like we're seeing for the day today. So no alert for tomorrow, just keeping an eye on tonight. Tomorrow is actually expected to be a little bit drier. So storm threats, main things, again, damaging wind, are going to be that flash flooding, the two that we're really kind of honing in on. Hail and tornado, not so much. We really just don't have the ingredients in the atmosphere for that part, for those two things particularly. We could still have a little bit of hail, but tornadoes, I'm not really as concerned about that. I'd be more concerned if it was springtime and a cold front was coming through, or I don't know, just a different weather setup. Any other kind of upper level system that was moving through, but we really don't have something that's going to be a system moving through and kind of bringing in changing dynamics in the atmosphere that you would see in kind of a tornado-ish environment. Rainfall today, we're up to around a couple hundredths of an inch in Mount Airy. There we go. You can see, though, on the map, anywhere you're seeing that kind of blue or that green, that's where we're starting to see some more rainfall. And you could really have between 1 to 3 inches in that range with where you're seeing that blue or that green, particularly on the map. But other places really just haven't seen much just quite yet. I'm going to leave you guys with a look at our 7-day forecast, and we're going to continue to track storms with you. I'll let you get a full glance at what you can expect these next couple of days. Pop-up storm chances on Sunday, lower 90s, still hot, still humid. Still going to be pretty pop-up stormy into Monday and Tuesday. Upper 80s, going to be cooling off by Tuesday and Wednesday just a bit. Enjoy that, but look at this, mainly dry. Yes, that is a sunshine emoji. Isn't that crazy? Nice to see it. Mainly dry Wednesday, Thursday, and also into the upcoming weekend, but it's going to get hot once again. Hey, coming up at 5 o'clock, I will be back with the latest updates on the radar. Thanks for tuning in, and have a great weekend. Hello, everybody. I'm doing a quick cut in here on WFMY Plus and also Facebook Live, giving you the latest, of course, on this weather impact alert that we have going on until 9 o'clock tonight due to the threat of these storms moving in. Already seeing a lot continue to pop off. We've had one severe thunderstorm warning just in the last couple of hours. That was in northeastern Alamance County. Continued pushing northeast pretty quickly at around 40 miles per hour, but we're going to have to keep a lookout for more storms over the next several hours. Again, main threats are going to continue to be the flash flooding and these locally heavy downpours and also damaging wind gusts. Also, we really could see mixing all the way down to the surface within some of these strong to severe storms, upward to around 60 to 65 mile per hour at times. So let's go ahead and get a look right now at the radar that is very, very busy. Right now, currently across the region, there is one severe thunderstorm warning that's actually toward our east. Still a lot of lightning. I want to zoom in right now on the triad, really what we're seeing with these strong clusters of storms that continue to just kind of build into the area coming in from west to east. We're seeing plenty of them in Caswell, in Alamance, and also now Guilford County, building also into northern parts of Randolph and Davidson counties. And we just saw a downpour in Winston-Salem not too long ago as well. We're going to continue to track these storms, and as we do so, I wanted to also kind of show you, what we're working with here. As for hail, really not seeing much across the area, so that is some good news. And some of the severe thunderstorm warnings, you really can have up to around an inch or so, even higher in diameter for some of that hail across the area, but there is plenty of lightning in these storms. This is just in Guilford and Alamance County. If I can kind of zoom in here, this is over 140 lightning strikes just within these storms that we've continued to kind of keep tracking the last couple of hours, and we're going to continue to keep an eye on them over the next little bit of time as well. They're kind of continuing to push northeast at around anywhere between 25 to 40 miles per hour. And of course, they're going to really continue to pack that punch. Realized I didn't have myself up with you guys, so wanted to put myself up with you guys so you know who you're looking at and talk to me. So as these lightning strikes continue to move through the area, it's also worth noting that really lightning can strike around 20 miles away from a storm. So if you hear thunder, please head indoors. Absolutely, quickly as you can. I did want to show you this too in Guilford County. As this line continues to kind of move through the area, some of those higher reflectivity spots that we're seeing that coordinate to higher rainfall rates, really just kind of over the heart of Greensboro right now, over Pisgah Church Road, East Market Street. Lot of high reflectivity there, indicating that a lot of rain is coming down. And that being said, I did want to show you a kind of a 3D slice of what this storm looks like. So I'm going to go from here all the way through here, kind of see what's going on in the mid-levels here of this storm. So this storm does extend pretty high up into the atmosphere, around 30,000 feet. I'm really not seeing a hail core for right now. Usually when you see a hail core right above Greensboro is kind of the highest point of reflectivity that you can kind of see on the map. I'm going to put a little arrow on it so you can know what I'm talking about. But when you have a hail core, you can kind of see pinkish purples that will start to show up, and that's indicative that there's hail falling down, and these updrafts are strong enough to kind of form that hail. You get super cool droplets that fall through the freezing layer, get to reform on the hail pieces, and then they just become strong enough to kind of go all the way to the ground or too heavy, and then they fall through. And that's when we see that hail across the area. Still plenty of also scattered showers and storms moving into portions of Caswell County over here toward High Towers and also toward Leesburg. I did get a question, so I'm going to look at that. Any update on how Yanceyville Street will look today? And that's a great question. A lot of people want to know exactly when and where these storms are coming, where they're going to be at a specific point in time. And it's hard to know exactly where these storms are going to pop up and where they're going to fizzle out, and also where they're going to redevelop. What we do know is that there's heat and there is humidity in the atmosphere, and there's plenty of moisture to go along with it. And when you have that, you get these storms that bubble up, and they don't really move all that much because they don't really have an upper level steering current in the atmosphere to help drive them through the area, such as, in the springtime when we have a cold front moving through, we can kind of time it out a little bit easier. But these kind of form, and then they can redevelop over the same spots and cause lots and lots of issues across areas, especially with the local flooding that we've had over the last several weeks. So our grounds are already saturated. That was part of the reason why I wanted to issue this weather impact alert. It is until 9 o'clock tonight if you are just now joining us. Due to the fact that we already have saturated soils, the water's got to go somewhere. So with these downpours continuing to come down, flash flooding is, of course, of the utmost importance of what we're tracking, and also damaging wind gusts. We really can have some strong wind gusts in these storms, especially in some of these kind of heavy updrafts that kind of can show signatures that, we could see another microburst or so that we just saw last weekend. So we have to keep an eye on that too. Kind of continuing to track the radar where some other storms have kind of formed here just within the last 15 to 20 minutes. And again, these form very, very quickly. This is actually just south of Reedsville, right along Highway 158, along South Scales Street, US Highway 158. That's where we're kind of seeing that locally heavy downpour form. But there is a lot of cloud-to-ground lightning here in this Greensboro storm. So with that in mind, I'm actually going to pull up the Greensboro Skycam just so you guys can get a better look at, what exactly this storm looks like on the Skycam. Looks like that's actually the time lapse of the last couple of hours, but a little bit spooky right now. As you can see, those storm clouds continuing to kind of roll in, very ominous looking for right now. We do not have a severe thunderstorm watch for our particular area. However, it is toward our east. Still lots and lots of heavy rain. We're seeing nothing severe in our area particularly for right now, but of course that could change. This severe thunderstorm watch is just out of our county range. It is toward the east over toward Raleigh, and that is until 10 o'clock tonight. Our alert tonight for the triad goes all the way until 9 o'clock. I really think the majority of these storms are going to be moving out by around 8 or 9, and that'll kind of cover any late running storms that should be by around 9 o'clock or so. If that changes, I'll let you know. I'll keep you updated not only at WFMY Plus, but also on Facebook with any updates that I may have. Active alerts for our area. Looks like we just actually got an alert. This is brand new. Looks like it's a flash flood warning for our area, not only for Guilford County, but also for Alamance County. Or it's a flood advisory, excuse me. So we're going to be keeping an eye on that. That could turn into a flash flood warning if we continue to see these kind of rainfall rates across our area. Any minor flooding is possible in low-lying areas and also poor drainage areas, but this is a lot of rain. So, with that flood advisory in place, I'm actually going to look and see how much rainfall they've had over the last little bit. And this is just an estimation, but I'm going to kind of look just toward the northeast of Pleasant Garden, really up to an inch or so. Let's go over toward Burlington, 1 to 2 inches. But with more storms on the way and continuing to redevelop, that could really be a problem across the area. So, of course, we're going to continue to monitor that. But going back to some of our active alerts across the area, again, we do have that severe thunderstorm watch that's just toward the east of our area, and that heat advisory, that's until 8 o'clock tonight. So we'll continue to track that too. But that is just mainly for Montgomery County, and that is until 8 o'clock tonight. Looking at some of your comments right now, raining very hard here north side of Greensboro. Thanks, Tim. Pouring. These are some locally heavy downpours. I haven't really seen any hail in these storms, which is great. Wind gusts, I haven't seen really any big reports of those either. Nothing severe again for now, but that really could change in these next couple of hours. How severe is it supposed to get, particularly in Greensboro? That's a great question. Well, we're already seeing these pop-up storms kind of continue to pack a punch, particularly in Greensboro itself. And they're really just bringing in a lot of cloud-to-ground lightning and heavy downpours that, of course, are continuing to cause problems. But this flood advisory, that could turn into a flash flood warning. You just want to be safe. You want to get inside. You want to be off of the roads. You want to get to a place that you can stay so you don't have to get in the car later, possibly with more and more rain continuing to kind of come down. I did want to show you some other flash flood warnings that are currently just actually north of our area. They're just north of Martinsville there in Virginia. They're all kind of right outside the Piedmont there. You have one just north of Surrey County over here on Mount Airy, and one just above my head actually in Ashe County, just outside of our area too. But these are some really locally heavy storms, and it really wouldn't surprise me if they're able to really if we're able to see a little bit of hail and a little bit more wind that these storms really could become severe here just within the next little bit of time. And with that, with my friends that have been watching on WFMY Plus, thank you for tuning in with us. If you want to see the rest of the video, please hop in on my Facebook Live. It's on my Facebook. Thank you for joining, and I hope you have a good night, and I will be back at 6 o'clock. Thank you.